Small wind turbine for home means M series turbine, M3 to M10. All of them got polyethylene blades and fixed tail. The second thing is this is the first series of wind turbine which can work with 48 volts, which have to work with high voltage 48 volts. I even used 380 volts with M10 because the diameter of these turbines, M3 starting from 1 meter 35 centimeters, M10 is 2 meters 40, 2.4 meters. They are also sold in 10 different versions, but we will talk about 3-blade and also 24 and 48, because 12 volts with this power is too big of current. The amperage is too high for most of the controllers. I will propose to use solar inverters because whole point of these turbines is to use them in household installation, which is possible because of cheap hybrid inverters. There are very cheap inverters, 24 volts. We need PWM version, and 48 volt also for turbine. We need PWM version, but these are hybrid inverters, which means you can use both. You can use this inverter if you will buy MPPT version, which is a little bit pricier, but still for 3 kilowatt 24 volt inverter you have to pay like 300 USD. For 5.5 kilowatt 48 inverter MPPT you have to pay 450, 500 USD. But then you will have to buy additional controller for wind turbine. Why? Because if inverter has PWM controller, we can just rectify current from wind turbine and use it directly on this inverter. With MPPT, it is impossible, so we need to buy another controller for wind turbine. Again, solar controller, PWM controller. So inverter will work only as an inverter, but also as solar controller, because MPPT controller for solar panels is much better. So that depends on the type of the installation you have. How much power from wind turbine you need. If you don't know which turbine you've been proposed to, M3 is easy, they've got round tail. M5, these bigger ones, they've got rectangular tail. So it's the first thing to notice. M3 is starting with honest, because I've got data from the factory. They starting from 300 watts, but this is Chinese measurement, because previously they measured maximum power at 9 meters per second. Now, industry standard is 15 meters per second. So the wind turbine which you buying as a 300 is 500 at least. And this cheapest one you can also buy in 48 volts, and this is the cheapest 48 volt wind turbine you can buy on the market, because this smaller S2, S3, they are not 48 volts. Most of them are 24, and 48 is made by this really not working MPPT controller. Also, for these turbines, do not buy controllers. Do not buy these cheap MPPT controllers. You will be very unhappy and you will have almost no production at all. Going to M5. M5 is in few different versions. First is 500 watts at 9 meters per second, which means that maximum power is kilowatt, up to 2.4. This is blades 1 meter 16 centimeters blade. So this is 2.4 diameter, and they are sold from the factory as 1 or 1.2 kilowatts. I measured them on the wind, and they can give above 2 kilowatts on good controller, on wind for few minutes. So this is not inertia measuring. What kind of mast you need to put it? The smallest one, you can start with 2-inch pipe, but you will need to use guidelines. So it's not much more expensive. Just use. So on most of my installations, it were 3 inches or even 4 inches pipes as a tower. 4 inches is quite okay-ish also for these bigger ones, but you also need to use guided tower. You need lashes because normally this is cheap wind turbine, and also amount of energy, so means amount of money we earn with it, is not very big because it's 500 kilowatt hours per year up to 1 megawatt hour per year, which means we don't need to invest so much to put it on 12-meter tower. It's much easier and much faster to use it with building connected tower. Also, this is relatively low voltage, which means each 10 meters means quite big losses. This means we want this as near to our battery pack as it is possible. For us, I've got experience with European installations. The easiest thing was to put it on the building. Also in China, it's also very popular to put it on the building because it's much cheaper. Price range for these turbines is 150 cheapest M3. It will give you 500 watts up to 400 something, 1 kilowatt, and I can guarantee with good controller this will give you 2 kilowatts. So these are on the cheaper side, but these are cheapest honest wind turbines. They are also very long lasting because of these plastic blades, and there is no possibility to make them bigger because the blade above 1 meter is maximum which you can do with polyethylene technology. Longer blades you will need composites, and this will increase price. So these are entry-level wind turbines. If you have solar power, if you have PV inverter, these are products for you. I had biggest success with these turbines when I made 380 volt version because I used them for people with PV installations, with PV inverters, so you need higher voltage, and they were connected to PV inverter as a solar panel. So we produced different controllers which change source characteristics because PV inverter needs current source and wind turbine is mixed, is much more voltage oriented source. So you need controller which changes characteristics and makes just DC for PV inverter. And then the power would go up immensely. Like really, I have reports from customers about 2.5 kilowatts on strong wind. I hope you know enough to check whether small wind turbine is for your home. Any questions in comments? Welcome. In next video we will talk about bigger wind turbines.